Well, congratulations, Pop. It's your son, Miles. Well, today, as everyone says goodbye, I would like to delve a little deeper and give everyone in this room a true glimpse into who is Richard Taylor. Well, that should have gotten your attention. I think I just proved that I can show a different side of Richard Taylor. But to me, my dad is one thing, and that's the best damn dad in the world. Let's start by talking about my childhood with Pop. My dad came home each day at 4 o'clock, and as soon as he walked in that front door, he was ready to go. Want to throw a ball? Go down to the field and run around? Go over homework? It didn't matter. You always had my dad's attention. The biggest, most important thing he could pass on to me as his son was the ability to return something. You know, if a product once had a price tag and it was purchased, it can be returned. That's something that I learned because of my father. You see, if you don't have a receipt, or if the product you have is damaged, or it's years old, that does not mean you can't return it. That is only a minor setback in the world of Richard Taylor. My dad can return anything. It could be to the wrong store and he'll probably walk out with a full refund because he has something that most people don't. And I'm sure most of you in this room know exactly what I'm talking about. He is lacking a discomfort gene. The more people start to feel awkward around him because he's being awkward, the more comfortable he somehow feels. It's amazing. We would walk into every single store, start with an employee, work up to a manager, then to a supervisor, and the more people started looking, the more people started hearing his stern voice, the more people started stopping, wondering what was going on, the more he started to smile. And 15 minutes would go by, 30, I would start hiding behind mannequins, going to clothes racks, trying to go underneath. My dad would pull me out, make me sit there, because, you know, he needed to feel good about himself by making me feel awkward. And all of a sudden, we would get a full refund. We'd walk out that store, my dad would look over at me, and he'd be on this natural high, and he would say, "I hope you learned something today." I remember waking up as a kid, 10, 11, 12 at night, going outside my bedroom, and I used to always see my dad at the end of the hallway at the kitchen table, studiously working over a Fox Pro book. He'd be out there for hours after the rest of the family had gone to bed. He did this night after night. And I used to feel guilty, and I remember one night I went up there and I said, "Dad, you don't need to do this. You don't need to do this for me. I can go to a different school, or don't put this burden on yourself." And he said, "No, I don't do this because I have to. I do it because I want to. I want to make sure that you have more opportunities than I had growing up. And you can repay me, you can thank me by taking advantage of those opportunities and making sure that your children have even more opportunities than you had." I'm only a few weeks away from having kids myself now, and although I don't know if I'll ever be able to truly repay my dad, I'm ready to try, and a lot of that reason is because of what my father gave me. Thank you. On the rare occasion when my mom would leave town for the night, my dad and I had a tradition. We would go up to Blockbuster and rent The Substitute Teacher, an American classic that somehow incorporates mercenaries, substitute teaching, the drug cartel. It's basically 90 minutes of complete badassness. In fact, on Rotten Tomatoes, Dad, it states right next to the 21% approval rating, men spilling blood and beating their manly chests. That's exactly what we were going for. Here's to hoping Mom takes lots and lots of trips in your retirement. Because there's a substitute teacher too, Dad.
Besides giving us a great childhood, my dad has always been our family's rock, supporting us as we lean on him.
It was my sophomore year of college, and I had this nasty flu bug, one of those awful ones. And it was really hitting me hard. I called my parents up. It was right in the middle of finals, and I was just about to start them. And I told them, I don't know how I'm going to get through this, but I'll see you in about 4 or 5 days when I fly home. And I got off the phone, I went to my bed, and I decided I need to take a nap, and I sweated the sheets out, and I was kind of delirious. I had a really high temperature. And when I woke up, I saw my dad looking right back at me. And to be honest, I thought I was hallucinating. But it was my dad. He had got off the phone. He had realized that I needed him, even though I didn't ask him. He knew. And he went straight to the airport. He got into a plane. He flew down on Southwest. And he rented a hotel. He got me out of my dorm, took me to the hotel. And for 3 days, he just took care of me. Got me food. He helped me study for my finals. Somehow I passed those. I don't even remember anything. And, I never once, like I said, asked for anything, any help. That's what my dad does. He's always there for people. When you need my dad, he's just going to magically show up.
I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody.
After my wife Emily was diagnosed with cancer, we needed support more than ever. And not surprising, my dad delivered. He came down and stayed with us for weeks on end. He would clean the entire house. He would cook every meal. And he would actually cook the meals at a different location so my wife, who was going through chemotherapy, wouldn't get nauseous from the smells of cooking food. He worked out with me. He was a sounding board to let me just talk about my own frustrations. He was there for not only me, but for my wife as well, when we needed him most. And it's what he's always done. He's always been there for me, for everyone. I know I've said this 100 times so far, but he is the most selfless person I know. I have a photo here. This is at the San Francisco lung cancer run, and that's my wife in front. She has one lung, and she's running the last bit of the 5K there. But that's also my dad right there in the middle, holding a sign that he constructed that says Team NBEN. And he runs with this. And it's about 3 feet over his head. And it's a banner supporting my wife. And he just runs with it proudly. I love that guy.
Your kindness, I'm indebted to you. For your selflessness, my admiration. For everything you've done, you know I'm bound to thank you for it.
Emily loves my dad. So much so that I'm pretty sure she would exchange me for him in a quick second. We have a Dickie-do list at our home. Not a honey-do list, but a Dickie-do list. So named because my grandmother used to call my dad Dickie. My wife heard it, loved it, and adopted it. So there it is, a list of things that need to be done around the home, built and fixed. And she sure knows I can't do it, but she does know someone who can, my dad. That list sits on the counter, week after week, waiting for my dad to come down, just showing off my inadequacies. Thanks, Dad. There is one more expression my wife has, WWRTD. What would Richard Taylor do? How do you use it? Well, after a long day of work, I'll come into the kitchen. My wife will have made this beautiful meal. I'll sit down. She'll say, "Can you grab me a glass of water?" And I'll look over that sink and it'll look so far. And she'll say, WWRTD. And she's right. What would my dad do? He'd already gotten up, have a glass, and it'd be half full. And I'm still sighing. But honestly, I have no problem with the phrase WWRTD. Because it's what I've been thinking my entire life. What would my dad do? He's been my role model as a man, in business, as a husband, and soon to be as a father. Dad, once again, you showed me how to handle another phase of life with your retirement, as you're coming down here to be with your family, and you're soon to meet your grandchildren. I love you, Dad. I'm so excited to have you down here, and I know I can't be there today, and I apologize. So hopefully you have that Kentucky bourbon there, because I'm in Kentucky with your grandkids. Here it is. Cheers to you.
Oh, I want to